Then on top of that, the great self-sacrifice when you see someone come to him when his father died. Imagine when your father's died and someone comes up to you from Syria. He sees you. He says, what's your name? He says, Hussein. Son of who? He says, son of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, may Allah curse you and curse your father Ali. If someone talked like that to you, how would you reply back to him? May Allah curse you and your father. The guy's name was Asam ibn Mustalaq. Imam said, is the wind of this area hurting you? Or maybe you've had a disagreement with your wife. Is there a shelter for you to stay in? Or has no one provided you with clothing? Please come and stay in my house if you are a stranger in this area. Wallah, that person began to cry. He said, Aba Abdullah, I cursed your father in front of you. And this is the way you reply back to me by making your house available for you? He said, this is the family of Rasulullah and the way we treat people. People may come and curse us, but we come back with morals, because our grandfather Rasulullah came to perfect the morals of mankind. And that's why I will never forget the greatest self-sacrifice before Karbala. Notice none of these stories are anything to do with Karbala. Before Karbala and the battle of Nahrawan, the soldiers who were caught by Ali ibn Abi Talib were standing there. One of the soldiers, you all know him very well. He was fighting Ali ibn Abi Talib on that day. He had some rope around his hands. It wasn't too tight, but it was around the hands. Imam Hussain was walking past. He saw that soldier. And the soldier looked at him and said, Hussain, I beg you, please remove this rope from around my hand, because the rope is causing nervousness in me. Remove it. And I'm asking you. Imam al-Hussain went back to his father. He said, oh my father, I'd like a favor from you. He said, what is it? He said, this person over there, do you see him? He said, yes, I see him. He said, he says to me, the rope is tight around his hand, even though you will never put a tight rope, but it seems to have been hurting him. And he asked me to remove it. Oh my father, do you allow me? He looked at him and he said, Aba Abdullah, go ahead. Aba Abdullah, why do you want to answer this? He said, Father, when someone asks through me, how can I reject? I don't want the person to be embarrassed. When you realize who this person is, that's when you realize how magnanimous a man this man is. He went back to the person. He said, give me your hands. And he removed the ropes from the hands of Shimr bin Dil Jawshan. Tell me, which mercy did he show to you when he sat on your chest on the afternoon in Karbala? This man, you remove a rope from his hand because when a person asks you, you do not want to embarrass them. And that is the same man who sits on your chest on the 10th of Muharram. That's Hussein. Before Karbala, not one mention in our lectures of Aba Abdullah before Karbala. This is Aba Abdullah before Karbala. And that's why the 10th of Muharram wasn't Imam al-Hussain. Imam al-Hussain for years had displayed these attributes. Karbala was when all of them came together on one day. Generosity with knowledge and forgiveness and humility and care and honor and dignity. That Hur bin Yazid al-Riyahi, who was a commander of the opposition, who had blocked water from the children of Hussein, and yet the forgiving heart of Aba Abdullah forgives him. And that's why when you look at Islamic history, not only Muslims but non-Muslims come and say Hur and the way he was forgiven. The horse, which man is thirsty, but before he drinks the water he says, horse, you drink, I can't bear to see you thirsty. Today Muslim countries have no respect for animal rights, whereas the master of Islam displayed respect to his animal. Which man gives away his 6-month-old baby? Which man lies on the ground with his killer on his chest and he says to his killer, if you give me water, I will intercede for you on the day of judgment? And that's why Imam Hussain, when you look at his biography, it's not just Muslims who have been affected by this colossal figure. No, non-Muslims as well. Look at Gandhi when he went out on his salt march with 72 people. And they said to him, Gandhi, why have you taken 72? He said, because Hussain took 72. And Hussein's 72 were eternal. I want my 72 to be eternal. I learned how to achieve victory while oppressed through Hussain ibn Ali. That was Gandhi. Charles Dickens, when he said that there is no way a man who takes his family and his children has gone out for worldly desires. If it's for worldly desires, you'd never take your family and your children. It dictates that Hussein's mission was but a mission for God and God alone. Nehru, when he said Hussain belongs to brotherhood, Hussain belongs to humanity, Hussain belongs to the path of righteousness. Look further, Antoine Barra, the famous Christian Lebanese, says, no battle in history has evoked as much sympathy and compassion, and from which as many lessons can be learnt, than the battle of Karbala and the life of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Dickens, Gandhi, Nehru, Antoine Barra, all of them show us that Hussain continues to live in the hearts of every human being. And that's why the Imam says, in the martyrdom of Imam Hussain, there is a heat that will never subside in the heart of the believer.